Good morning. Today we continue in Genesis chapter 19, verses 1 through 22. And I encourage you to read this passage personally as well, because it shows both the seriousness of sin and the mercy of God in rescuing those who belong to him. In verse 1, the two angels arrive in Sodom, and Lot is sitting in the gate of the city. This detail matters. Sitting in the gate suggests influence and involvement in the city's life. Lot is no longer simply living near Sodom, as in earlier chapters. He's now deeply connected to it. This shows how gradual compromise can move a believer close to the world over time. In verse 2 and 3, Lot insists on showing hospitality, urging the visitors to stay in his home. Though Lot's surroundings are corrupt, this moment shows that some awareness of righteousness still remains. However, the event that follows reveal how deeply wicked the city has become. In verses 4 through 9, the men of Sodom surround the house and demand to bring out the visitors for sinful purposes. This sin reveals the depth of the city's corruption. Sin is no longer hidden, but it is celebrated, and it's celebrated in a very aggressive way. Lot attempts to intervene, but his compromised position weakens his influence. The men of the city reject his appeal, showing that prolonged compromise diminishes spiritual authority. In verses 10 and 11, the angels intervene directly, pulling Lot inside and striking the men with blindness. This moment shows that salvation ultimately comes from God's action, not human strength. Lot cannot protect himself. God must rescue him. In verses 12 through 14, the angels warn Lot to gather his family and to leave because judgment is coming. Lot speaks to his sons-in-law, but they dismiss the warning as if he was joking. This reveals another consequence of compromise. When a believer lives too closely to the world often no longer takes their words seriously. In verses 15 through 17, the angel urges Lot to flee quickly. Lot hesitates, and the scripture tells us that the angels take him by the hand and lead him out. This is a powerful picture of mercy. Even when Lot is slow and uncertain, God is compassionate and acts to save him. The command is clear: escape. Do not look back and do not linger. In verses 18 through 22, Lot asks to flee to a small city instead of the mountains. And God graciously allows it. Even in rescue, God shows patience and kindness. Judgment is delayed until Lot reaches safely, showing that God's mercy protects those he has chosen to save. This passage also points us to Christ. Just as Lot was rescued from the coming judgment, Jesus Christ rescues believers from the judgment of sin. Where Lot hesitated, Christ acts decisively to save. Salvation is not earned by strength, but given by grace. As you go throughout the day, I want you to examine whether anything in your life is pulling your heart towards compromise. Do not delay when God calls you to step away from sin or danger. Respond quickly, trust God's mercy, and walk forward in obedience, knowing that God who warns also is the God who rescues. God bless.